Shows George Coe in a judicial robe, sitting behind a bench banging a gavel. And Selena Quintanilla in a witness stand, and 12 jurors in a jury box. Coe, come to order. We are now proceeding with the trial of State versus Draper. State, you're done with the direct examination of your witness? Shows Jan Hooks at the prosecution table. Yes, Your Honor. Coe, okay, defense, your witness. Shows Phil Hartman as public defender Pete Dender, sitting next to Norm MacDonald as 69-year-old Don Draper at the defense table. Thank you, Your Honor. Hartman gets up from the table and walks towards the witness stand. He winks at the jury as he does so. In the jury box, Brittany Murphy rolls her eyes, while Chris Farley becomes very bashful and starts smiling coyly. Hartman, now Miss Quinta in. Selena, it's Quintanilla? Hartman, whatever. You said you met my client, Mr. Draper, at a bar. Is that right? Selena, that's correct. Hartman, and you believed him to be quite attractive, didn't you? Selena, kind of, although he was heavily intoxicated and smelled really bad. Hartman, and he asked to buy you a drink, correct? Selena, after he commented that my hips were ideal for child rearing, yes. Hartman, and you accepted that drink, correct? Selena, correct. Hartman, you were hoping to date him, weren't you? Selena, well, I wanted to take it slow. Hartman, take it slow. You wanted to sleep with him that night, didn't you? Selena, no, I did not. Hartman looks at Brittany Murphy and smirks. Murphy looks away in disgust. Hartman then makes eye contact with Farley, who begins licking his lips. Hartman, so you're telling us that you received a drink from a formerly successful ad executive and you weren't hoping to sleep with him? Selena, that's correct. I'm a virgin and I'm waiting until I'm married. Hartman, so you accept a drink from the dashing Mr. Draper, yet you claim he sexually assaulted you? Selena, that's correct. As he began to grab at my butt unsolicited, he said he can't keep his hands to himself. No matter how hard he's trying to, he wanted me all to himself. I tried to explain to him that I'm Selena Quintanilla, not Selena Gomez. Hartman goes back to the table and has MacDonald stand up. Hartman then begins to grab MacDonald's ass and asks, is this how he grabbed your butt? Go. Let the record reflect that Mr. Dender is grabbing the left and right buttocks of his client with each of his hands. Selena, no, I believe he only grabbed my right cheek. Hartman, may I approach the witness, Your Honor? Go. You may. Hartman, you said that my client, quote, motorboated you, is that correct? Selena, correct. Hartman, so it was essentially like this, correct? Hartman begins to place his face into Selena's cleavage. Selena, what the hell are you doing? Coe bangs the gavel. Order! Mr. Dender, you cannot motorboat the witness. Hartman walks toward Brittany Murphy in the jury box and lowers his head towards her cleavage. Murphy, what the hell, man? Coe, Mr. Dender, you also cannot motorboat members of the jury. Hartman, but, Your Honor, I believe by demonstrating to the jury the act alleged, it will show how unlikely it was to have occurred. Farley, you can demonstrate it on me. Hartman gulps and begins to motorboat Farley. Farley, wee! Hartman lifts up his face, which is now red and sweaty. Good God. Is that what you claimed happened, ma'am? Selena, yes, though I became upset and didn't yell out, wee. Hartman, okay, and last question. You are a woman, isn't that right? Selena, yes. Hartman, and therefore you're a lying hussy, aren't you? Hooks, objection, Your Honor. Coe, sustained. Mr. Mr. Dender, you cannot call the witness a hussy. Hartman. No further questions, Your Honor. I already got her to admit she's only a woman. Hartman looks at Murphy in the jury box and whispers, swish. Hartman sits back at the defense table and whispers to McDonald, we got this in the bag. Can you believe she admitted she's only a woman? McDonald, I can't believe I went with the public defender. I should have gone with Pete Campbell's attorney. He gets away with raping women all the time. Cuts to closing arguments. Hartman has McDonald bent over a table while spanking him. Hartman, now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you think my client was doing this to that woman, spanking, grabbing, and just overall going to town on her ass, go. Mr. Dender, please. I believe the jury understands your point. Please stop manhandling your client's career. Hartman, very well, Your Honor. Now, folks, use your common sense. You've seen my client. Is he an old drunk who peaked decades ago? Absolutely. But would he grab the butt of a woman who looks just like Jennifer Lopez? I don't think so. Hartman pulls out a poster board that has a picture of the rapper Common and 2 pennies. Hartman, when you're deliberating, remember, folks, use common sense. Remember, drunk men used to getting whatever they want are always to be trusted over a woman. I mean, a woman. A woman? We barely allow them to vote, and now we're going to take a woman's word for something? Hartman begins to stare down Murphy and the jury and says, remember, ladies, men always know what's best. Hartman sits back at the defense table. McDonald, how long do you expect them to deliberate? Hartman, oh, juries never need to deliberate with me, you'll see. Go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, now is time for your deliberations. Murphy stands up and says, we don't need to deliberate, Your Honor. We find the defendant guilty. McDonald, you've got to be kidding me. Hartman, well, that's what we get for letting women on juries. And live from Tom's phone, we're not alive. It's Saturday Night Live, starring an ever-evolving cast that is unionized and refuses to allow their names to be mentioned until their demands are met. Musical guest, Mickey Gilley, and your host, Mike Haggerty. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Haggerty. Applause, applause, applause. Haggerty. Thank you. It's nice to be here. I'm happy to be hosting. Gives me a chance to get my name out there. Hopefully get some roles up here. Fred Willard is Buck Laughlin, John Belushi is Jim Belushi, and Chris Farley is Todd O'Connor all come out. Willard. Well, hey there, Mike. I'm Buck Laughlin, sports host on ESP Radio, #1 among the psychics, and we'd love for you to come on and join our team as a superfan. Haggerty. I appreciate the offer, Mr. Laughlin, but I feel like I was typecast as a heavy blue-collar guy who'd be talking about sports. I want to shoot for some leading man roles. You know, action flicks, some rom-coms, that sort of thing. Maybe do some Shakespeare. Heck, I was even thinking of maybe putting out an album. Let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. Belushi. But what about Ditka? Farley. Ditka, 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 Ditka. Haggerty. Well, you know why? It might be a while until I get an album made. So what the hell? Let's go eat some brats, drink some brewskis, and talk Ditka. We got a great show for you tonight. Mickey Gilley is here. So why don't you come stand by me in a room full of roses? We'll be right back.